Good morning. My name's Mark. I'm currently based in the UK. I'm a systems administrator slash IT support professional with approximately, approximately 5-6 years of experience. I went to university at Hertfordshire to do a honours degree in computer science, which I absolutely loved. It's my bread and butter. Love a bit of coding, love a bit of sysadmin, just anything tech related, to be fair. So why am I doing this video? This is my first raw unedited video, straight off the cuff. I do have a little bit of a script, but we'll come back to that later. And I'm documenting my transition into what I hope will be a fruitful career in IT services, more specifically cloud services, Microsoft, maybe the Microsoft ecosystem. Maybe it'll be Google Cloud Platform. I do not know at this moment in time. But what I'm doing is I'm just fleshing out the very first video. There's some sort of script, but this is me, the raw unedited version of me. Like I said, I'm based in the UK. I have ADHD, so things can be a little bit of a challenge. So if I diverge, I do apologize. It's a common theme with ADHD, this infinite distraction glitch I've called it lately, or as AI puts it, side quests. Yeah, that's I'm on one now actually. Right, let's get back to the core theme of this video. So I'm currently transitioning into what I hope is going to be a long and rewarding career in IT services, cloud-based. I'm currently living in an electric van, so I've got it's a very small van, but it's currently my mobile command center, and I'm just documenting my transition. It's sort of like a portfolio builder, proof of concept, proof of competence. So what am I going to cover in this transition? So I've just got a GitHub repo in front of me, and with the help of Google Gemini and ChatGPT, I've fleshed out bare bones structure. My repository is here, so I'm just going to briefly touch on some of the stuff that I'm going to cover. There's no B-roll, there's no fancy editing. This is just raw, straight from the source, straight from the horse's mouth, so to speak. The repo name is Core 365 Pro. And so my transition is basically going to cover operational, Microsoft 365 with AI-assisted IT administration workflows. So a lot of the videos and stuff, labs on YouTube, they tend to, drill into the same generic stuff, do this certification, blah, 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 do this. But in reality, that's not really how problems are solved. Memorization, everyone can memorize, or most people can memorize. My niche will be critical thinking, with the assistance of AI tools and workflows, best practices. And I just want to point out that I have ADHD, so distraction is a huge element of my life. Curiosity killed the cat. In my case, it's killing me at times. And with ADHD, we tend to go on these constant, what AI are term it as side quests, constant distractions, They don't really drive productivity. So in my transition, I'm going to be documenting how we can leverage and harness the true, some of the more powerful aspects of AI to help people maintain a focus and make sure that their trajectory is always moving forwards and we don't get distracted endlessly in this infinite glitch where we keep doing different things and we don't actually do that much productivity. So let's go on. Right, so this is with collaboration from AI. I've been able to draft out a structure. So I'm going to document modern cloud administration. There will be some on-premise stuff. There will be traditional Active Directory, domain controllers and stuff, but predominantly we're going to be using AI-assisted IT operations. We want to be as efficient as possible. We want to be as accurate as possible, and we want to be as timely as possible. So I'm going to be covering stuff like Azure Labs, 365 admin, troubleshooting workflows. And what I mean by troubleshooting workflows, traditionally with Google search, blah, 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 we'd do this, we'd do that. But now we've got this awesome collective global knowledge / wisdom base of AI, which is continually improving at an alarming rate. We're going to touch on automation, documentation. Yeah, I know that can be a bit of a dry subject, but we will use AI-assisted documentation methods. The core theme here is using AI to leverage productivity. So again, AI-enhanced operational practices, and we're going to do some, technical learning stuff. So let's get back onto my background. I've got about 5-6 years in IT support, honours doing computer science, H&D in computing, and this repository is going to serve as my base, my proof of concept base, portfolio builder, where I document this journey. It's going to be one aspect on GitHub, which I use for documentation purposes. And yeah, it's just me doing a brain dump in this video. So apologies if I, rattle on, because it's very unstructured at the moment. But let's proceed. So the focus areas, we're going to be doing compute, we're going to be doing storage, we're going to be doing identity is a huge one, cost management, etc. We're going to use Microsoft 365, all the available services in that, Entra ID, etc., security, endpoint, MDM stuff. But realistically, the most important aspect of my transition is AI-assisted IT operations. Now we're moving away from traditional troubleshooting to AI-assisted troubleshooting workflows. And that's the real niche aspect of my transition. Because if you go onto YouTube and stuff, you see generic certification videos, click this, do that. But very few are actually focusing on the true power of AI to help us solve real world problems in, a timely manner. So that is the core of this, AI-assisted operations. So I've got a little bit of repository philosophy, blah, blah, blah. This repository, blah, 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 excuse me. Operational thinking, consistency, real-world troubleshooting. And here's the focus, real-world troubleshooting. There's far too many videos on YouTube, etc., that just focus on, yeah, we're back. Right, sorry. There's far too many generic videos. They're not really useful apart from, passing certifications. But in reality, in the real world, troubleshooting, these certifications, whilst they will help you, no doubt, they're not really the best tool. They're not really the best option when it comes to troubleshooting high pressure environment problems. When you've got a managing director in front of you, he's banging his fist on the table, he wants this solution done now. You need the tools and strategies to deal with those types of situations, because you've got to work under pressure. In modern work environment, pressure can be the determining factor between, if you can survive under pressure, that can be, all that's needed for a successful career. If you don't survive under pressure, then you might as well just throw those certifications in the bin, because they become meaningless. Well, not completely meaningless, but so we're going to be focusing on solving real world problems, and what people don't focus on is in a timely manner. So we don't want to get too distracted with side quests, for example, to the point where we're not actually solving the problem, we're not being productive, we're not driving efficiency forwards, we're just getting endlessly stuck in procrastination glitches. So I've got a little bit here, and yeah, this is my first video. I hope to see you in the next video. I hope I hope I haven't, dissuaded you too much. But yeah, ultimately, I'm a very much a self-confessed IT nerd. I'm proud of it. I always will be. I'm very curious. I love everything tech, and I'd just like to share all my knowledge with everyone else because I absolutely love sharing knowledge. So please, please join me on this journey. I am confident that it will be super, super rewarding. Goodbye.